All right. Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Hajar, and I will become your host for today. So, welcome on board. I would like to make sure that you guys are at the right place. So, welcome on board to Deal or Grill session. So, I want to ask, are you guys ready for this session tonight? If yes, please give me emoticons so that I know that you guys are doing good. And also, oh yeah, before that, I'm so sorry. I apologize to um mention about okay I can you guys hear me loud and clear? So if yes, please put something in throughout the chat whether you guys can hear my voice. Okay, good, right, amazing. Right. Okay. Cool. So welcome on board. So for those who are actually watching us throughout our social media, so I would like to invite you guys to join us throughout the Zoom. So the team will share the link, and you guys can ask questions to in the Q&A box throughout the Zoom. Yeah. Okay. So welcome on board. And then I would like to introduce basically the housekeeping rules for tonight. Okay. So the first one is there will be like no recording. So if you guys want to watch this again, so you guys can go to the our YouTube channel. So there will be like recording upload later on. Okay. And then the second one is basically no self promotion. So if we find out that you guys are doing self promotion for tonight, I'm so sorry, we have to kick you guys out. And of course, we don't want that to happen, right? Okay. And last but not least, you guys can ask question in the Q&A box below. Okay. And of course, the panelists will pick question to answer that live. And also the chat box will be closed during the presentation. Okay. All right. So for this session tonight, we are going to have like top 5 properties that we are going to discuss. So the properties on the grills are Flora Hijauan Gombak, the Vybe by in Cyberjaya, Solasta Kuala Lumpur, Clouthaus, KLCC. I'm not sure I'm saying this right. And then last is like Pavilion Square, Bukit, Bintang. So with that, so I would like to call upon basically our panelists for tonight, and also Boss FR, are you ready? Okay, so I'm gonna
You
call
need
upon like,
to you need to enable me as a host.
oh, hold on.
Can open my video.
Okay, can the team put in the okay, good. So you are a co-host now. Can you open the video?
Hello.
Okay, right.
Can you guys hear me and see me loud and clear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so the floor is yours.
Okay. So macam biasa. So today is a session of deal or grill, right? So deal or grill, and we do this every bi-weekly, and the whole idea is to bring the five hottest property, right, to be discussed and to be reviewed objectively. And how do we pick this top five properties based on the advertisement that we see on social media or what is being discussed online? So these are the two criteria that determines which property is hot property, lah, right? Just because you like a property, if the agents are not widely advertising this or people are not actively discussing the property that you like, that means it's not going to come up to deal or agree, right? So, for context, why are we doing this? As you know, we do a lot of webinar to educate the public. We've been doing so since pre-COVID, so this is no different, right? And we are hoping to provide a different and independent POV for anyone, yeah, looking to buy a investment property or own stay property. Okay. The third one is that we're hoping to use data to help provide an independent guide for anyone looking to buy. And last but not least, which I guess is the most exciting part, is that we want to uncover, right, any misrepresentation of the product, right, used by the agents or the property developer to sell you these properties, right? So the idea is that if there's a graveyard, we tell you there's a graveyard lah. We don't tell you And if it's not walkable to KLCC, because it's 5 bloody kilometers away, we will also tell you it's not walkable to KLCC, lah, right? So that's the whole idea, right? And typically, we review 5 properties in all deal or grill. And at the end, we actually open the floor for Q&A. Okay, so this is basically why we are doing this. Now, next slide, please. All right. These are properties that we have basically reviewed in the previous deal and grill. We have reviewed Ajal Bukit Bintang, Nexus Taman Pertama, Kingwoods Bukit Jalil, Tuan Tui Heritage, Artista, Bamboo Hill, Skies Maluri, Atera PJ, Sunway Velocity 3, and Radium Arena. So these are all properties that we have reviewed in the past. Go and check out our YouTube channel if you want to go and find out what is the verdict, yeah, on all of these properties that we have basically reviewed. Okay. Next slide, please. Right. These are basically our last year's Battle Royal. We have basically reviewed a lot areas last year. So we have basically reviewed more than 10 areas. We've got Maluri, Segambut, TRX, PJ, Desa Park, Johor Bahru, KLCC, Jalatik, Mont Kiara, Bukit Jalil. And if you move to the next slide, I think we've got a little bit more too. Right. You know, these are going to be the property that we are looking to review tonight. So we've got one in Bukit Bintang, we got one in Dutamas Mont Kiara, we've got one in KLCC, we got one in Gombak, and then we've got one in Cyberjaya. So these are the 5 hottest property that we see either being discussed or being advertised in the last 2 weeks, right? So which is why these are going to be the property we are discussing for tonight, right? So next slide, please. Okay, before we start, I'm just going to quickly introduce our panel, our panelists for tonight. So if I can welcome everyone, right? So before I hand over the floor to both Zakri and of course Albee. So siapa yang ada malam ni? Let's see. Okay. Right. Okay. Is Zakri joining us, Albee? Or no?
Zakri is not joining. He's in Milan now.
Okay. Okay, I say. Zakri is on
Milan,
holiday. Best Yeah lah. People so atas, you know. We are
Wow,
stuck in
Milan. Acuh.
yeah, people don't do holiday in Ulu Kelang, UK, right? People go proper Europe, right? So tonight we've got 3 panel, right? So I've got Albee, you know, normally is the only lady so far that has joined our both Battle Royal and Deal and Grip. Then of course we've got the one and only Sean Iherng, right? And of course then we've got William, right? So we've got multiple age groups here. You got one guy above 40, which I cannot mention who. Now we've got one guy above 30, and then we've got 2 panelists below 30. So we've got representation of all ages dekat sini, right? So I see people laughing. You know, you laugh one more time, I don't know why, but I suspect the system will kick you out from tonight's session, right? Janganlah mock old man, you know. So without further delay, right? So I'm gonna quickly hand over the floor to Albee, and then you know, we're gonna begin the review for tonight. So with that, Albee, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sir Faizul. So today, without further ado, let's do our today's session. So the first one we're going to review tonight is actually Pavilion Square. So this is by Pavilion's group itself. So something special from itself is going to be a strategic location with mature amenities around, because this is Bukit Bintang, everyone know this. Okay, so it's a branded developer. Last episode we did share like how Pavilion's group property performed last time. So we're going to discuss this itself today. So something special for this Pavilion Square itself is actually offering small sizes comparing to previous launches. And also this is going to be a mixed integrated development. It's going to come with a grade A offices and also going to be connected towards the Pavilion's mall itself. So what's the real USP? This is going to be what we think is strategy locations, branded developer, small size friendly. The only downside will be probably the leasehold. So when I go through the site viewing with this Pavilion Square agents, they actually first they screen your profile first before they bring you to viewing, because they wanted to actually keep record for the tenants or the owners they're going to get for this product itself, because this is going to be slightly on a much more expensive side for this Bukit Bintang, or comparing to other launches. And also something different is like just now I say, because Bukit Bintang, I guess everyone is quite friendly, quite known that is familiar with this Airbnb vibe. But for this Pavilion Square, something to highlight is they're not going to allow for Airbnb. Yes, no Airbnb. Okay, this is only going to let you either go for own stay or rent it to some high expert. So the only thing they highlighted
So
here
Albee,
also,
why
yeah.
why do they say no Airbnb?
Oh, this is a bit for me, I find it a bit questionable, because they say for those who do Airbnb, it will affect the value of the property. So when there's a lot of people who do Airbnb, so people won't maintain it. So when people don't maintain it, the maintenance fees go high. So then the unit go into auctions. Okay, so it's better that you don't do Airbnb. And they are looking for this product itself. They are looking for capital appreciations for 8% in future, because they are comparing to their pavilions suits last time, or even banyan tree. But the difference I mentioned just now is the leasehold and the freehold. The other product is all freehold. This is going to be a leasehold. So they're looking for like capital appreciation for this. So if you go for Airbnb, it will definitely affect the value. And actually, they screen through your profile for all the buyers. It's because they wanted to maintain the exclusivity, and also for the owners lah. So if you go for Airbnb, right, so the units itself, there's below a lot of people visiting this dormant itself. So in terms of privacy, it will be a big issue lah. So this is why they are not going to allow for Airbnb. So for that, they're actually targeting for more towards high income group level of people, because they built the office mall itself within this development. So this is going to be targeting towards for only one options, which is going to be a whole unit or own stay. So strictly no Airbnb, even though this area is very famous for Airbnb, for even from Pavilion Suites itself. But unfortunately, they're not going to do that. They only allow for whole unit. So for me is the question is, if this is only limited with one options, okay, what is going to look like in the future when people are going to invest? Because like investor, they look into value, but this is only limited options. And when people wanted to sell off at a higher price point, but people who wanted to come in to this product, they will look at it whether this has still have investment value. Yeah. So for me, I will put a question mark for the exit strategy, especially for this price point, for this development. So this is something that I question out with the RI that would actually quoted for me. So that probably will be the downside, I think, for this Pavilion Square for the leasehold and freehold lah. Okay, so this is probably the details you guys can screenshot it. So the most affordable unit would be probably the smaller size that you can enter. So the net per square feet is actually, the lowest is 2,000 to the lowest floor. This is going to be the 2-bedroom. So averagely for this Pavilion Square is actually about 2,004 to 2,005 per square feet at mid-floor and for across all the layout size. Okay, so they have a rooftop pool, rooftop gyms is quite common for this. Okay, so accessibilities wise, connected to Jalan Tun Razak, Bukit Bintang, Smart. In terms of public transport access, it's going to be the walking distance towards the MRT Bukit Bintang station. For me, long-term Liberty, I'll be looking at for it is as a great accessibilities, because this is going to be an integrated development. So is it going to have the link bridge connect to the grade A offices, from the offices connect to the mall itself. So if they are renting it to those experts who are working within this community, so it's either they go back to the place they stay, or they go to the malls to shop or to eat. Okay, so in terms of mortgage wise, right, so for the small 1+1 bedroom is about close to 5,003. The bigger size is the 1,001 is about 7,007 for the mortgage for mid-floor. So for investment value, so like what I shared before, for Pavilion itself, I find it a bit special because people are really buying it for its name, for it branded developers for the development itself. This is why I get it for the specific transacted value from his past development. So we have Pavilion Residence and also Pavilion Suites. Pavilion Suite is much more newer. Okay, so it's transacted about 3,001. We have 3 in the transaction record. So Pavilion Residence is about close to 10 years from now. So it's about 1,005 per square feet. So new one that you can see is actually close to 3,000. The launch price last time for Pavilion Suites is about close to 2,008. This is why the agent justified to me that they have the capital appreciation value in it. The only why the new product today is slightly lower in price point is because the leasehold and the freehold, they are concerning for it. So O1 for Pavilion Residence is about close to 1,005. Tiering is tier 1. Upcoming supplies on the TRX side will be Core TRX. The other one sandwiched in between is Orion. Orion is selling about 3,000 plus square feet as well, but this is going to be a high luxury spec with fully furnished. So Barringens from Axims is a bit further down, more closest towards our Times Square area, but it's still within the fringe of Bukit Bintang. So booster wise, I guess if you're talking about Bukit Bintang, it's quite matured. So the other side, booster that's quite near is actually TRX Financial District lah. Maturity point for me is semi-matured for this TRX to be matured wise. They have still much more office to be open up in this district. So multiple rental options. Unfortunately for this Pavilion Square, they already say they cannot do Airbnb lah. So the only things that go is whole unit. So rental wise, we have the closest one, we have Dorset, Pavilion Suites, and Exxon would be probably catering for slightly larger, bigger layouts, but 3 bedroom. So the small one you want to take comparison is either Dorset or Pavilion Suites. So their 1 bedroom is about 5,000 to 5,005. Okay. The other Pavilion Banyan Tree is slightly, the development is quite old. So 2 bedroom is about 6,005 to 7,000. The 3 bedroom is about close to 15 or 18,000 because the size is almost double of it. So it's a different development if you want comparing size to size. So if you're talking for small layout, can refer to Dorset or Pavilion Suite itself. So not going to considering their maintenance. If just looking at their mortgage, probably will cover about 90% of your mortgage or 80%. Okay, so that's about Pavilion Square. So what do you guys think? I guess Iherng will have some say when it's Airbnb friendly or not Airbnb friendly, and especially this, I must say, cannot do.
Wow, what shit way I started.
Last time you said Airbnb, this time the agent did say that Airbnb cannot maintain the value, right? What do you think? But it comes with limited options.
Yeah, yes and no. So maybe even I think the very obvious restriction of Airbnb gives it its value further. Suddenly, like, wow, this one, okay, for sure, not atas people, you won't come in, you're not welcome. And for that, suddenly I will buy for own stay. Like I will buy, so okay, to me, deal accrue, right? I will deal because of the brand, number one. Investment wise, not really making sense lah. We have a lot of cheaper options around, but at this rate is, if I can just get one 4 years later, I rent out to a tenant that covers about 95% of the rent, and maybe one day my kid goes to primary school, don't want me already, right? I will just stay in Pavilion. Actually got friends who are staying in Pavilion Suites, and he keeps showing me his life. Very chill lah. So this is a personal opinion. Yeah, this is not recommended at all. But if I can afford, I will buy. And because of the brand also, because like our last what was the Battle Royale also, it's quite fascinating to see Pavilion withstand the volatility, right, via their brand alone. So that's something very, very cool to see. So ideal, I will deal. Investment wise, not really. It's really for own stay kind of thing.
What about you, William?
Yeah, lah, I think pretty much similar to what Sean said, because it's more like a trophy purchase already, lah, like Pavilion, right? The name, you see Pavilion Monkera, the sales like pretty crazy also. Even though like there's how to say, there's much more options, I would say, lah, but then it still sells good because of the name. And this one is like next to the mall as well with a link bridge, all that stuff. If I have the money, of course, for most millionaires like me, it's out of reach, I think for own stay is too. But if you can buy it for own stay comfortably, I think I will buy it, lah, right? If I have the money. Kan? So I think I'll be the same. Just that investment, yeah, exactly what Sean said. So there's tons of cheaper options, with higher potential gain, right? Those entry price. So definitely no go lah. A grill for investment, but deal if you have the money. Definitely lah. Come on, Pavilion. Yeah. Abby.
For me, I won't like to stay in this quite high commercial vibrancy area. Maybe not really deal for one stay. Actually, I grill for investment for small unit lah. Because when I look through, of course, big sizes, you can't really comparing for the size itself that you can get in Pavilion Suites or even Banyan, from their past development. But if it's small one, yes, for the prices and the mortgage that we can cover. In terms of appreciation value for these Pavilion branded developments, we can see, yes, it will stand. So for me, it's more investment. I think it's more investment than own stay. Because own stay is only you got privacy, because this is not going to Airbnb friendly. But in terms of comparing to other product, for this own stay kind of vibe, I don't find it to be really own stay. You walk next door is office building, then this area is so hot and commercialized for me. So I don't think it's a pretty decent own stay place. But for me, it's investment. I feel like if I rent, maybe probably I really can rent to all these experts working in the area. Of course, for small unit, big unit, your mortgage is so higher. In terms of rentability is a question mark for me. Because 5,000 or 6,000, maybe people will still rent it for 1+1 bedroom. I see it as investment. Yeah.
Capital appreciation more or rental returns more?
This is why I question. So if you have limited options, like you only can do one options, then I purchased I as the first one who purchased. When I want to sell, people want to enter the market. Of course, they wanted to get some returns, right? But I already make the appreciation as the capital appreciation. But what they're going to get the next, they're going to look for the cash flow, right? As the next one who enter the markets. For me, that's why I a bit question like, for the next one who wanted to buy, if they see I cannot get it, but I cannot cover for my mortgage also investment value, so why do I want to buy from you? This is why I go for the small size. At least rental wise, almost similar, able to cover lah. So probably next time they want to go for own stay, then they can buy for own stay. 1+1, pretty decent value lah. For me, it's more investment actually. What do you think, boss?
I got points, but Faizul finishes. Yeah.
I think first and foremost, is very happy to see developer catching up to what me and Sean has been saying for years, which is on two things. Number one, when you put Airbnb, right, the value of the property from a capital gain point of view becomes very poor, right? So it's good to see a public listed developer like Pavilion finally catches on now. And you know how I love rooftop pool, and again, finally, right? They decided to put a rooftop pool in their Pavilion series. So I think this is the first one, right? For me, whether would I buy this for own stay or would I buy this for investment is a big grill for me for a couple of reasons. I think this is probably right now, correct me if I'm wrong, lah, but this is probably right now the most expensive leasehold property in the country, right? Right. So
Yeah.
I don't know the full fact, but I think this is right now the most expensive. At above 2,000 ringgit per square foot, it is the most expensive leasehold property in the country. Now that's not a problem if the whole area is leasehold, but you and I, you all know lah, right? Majority of Bukit Bintang and KLCC is actually freehold. All right. So if you are wondering whether this developer suddenly scared no balls to price higher because they used to sell at 3,000 ringgit per square foot at the actual pavilion, is because this is basically a leasehold prop lah, right? So I'm not big on becoming a pioneer and everything, right? So that's number one. So given the fact that there's no, I would say, margin of safety to enter at 2,000 plus per square foot, right? It depends on which party you go with. Some party is getting apparently about 2001. There's some party going at 2003. I know what's the base price like. I don't think, at least for the next 5 to 10 years, unless we have a mega property to run, you know, you'll make anything significant from a capital gain point of view. I think cash flow is actually quite evident, quite clear. Own stay, again, nothing in it. It's almost 1,000 units. It's hardly exclusive. I mean, for those who are far cap client know that we are buying something at around 1,500 ringgit per square foot and less than 200 units. So it's neither exclusive or unique, and the fact that it's a Pavilion brand, right? And for me, I'm not really a big sucker for brand, right? So therefore, for me this is a skip lah, right? Own stay is not so bad. If you really like the area, like what Sean is saying, I think the area is pretty convenient. I love the fact that you can actually walk to both KLCC and Pavilion, right? So location wise, it's actually very good, right? But still, leasehold at this kind of price point, not enough margin of safety lah for investment purposes. And of course, not only we bought KLCC cheaper freehold, we also bought somewhere walking distance to this, right? At just 1,003, right? Per square foot freehold, right? Walking distance to this, but no rooftop pool lah. Um, we're just buying better property with far greater margin of safety, right? So if I want to buy for own stay, I'll buy the lower density one, the one with less than 200 units. And if I want to buy for investment, I'll buy, the one whereby, it's below 1,350 ringgit per square foot and it's freehold, right? So that's my verdict. Yes, Sean, you got
Yeah, so I'm just
additional
thinking of
point.
it, right? Like from a person who don't know jack shit about property, don't care, just busy running his business, right? Then suddenly when you come to me, hey, like, oh, you see Bukit Bintang, there's like easily 20 different launches. But then, hey, Pavilion, okay, then when I look into the track records, suddenly I realized that they might be somewhat like I will just put money in without expecting much out of a return. But I'm pretty sure that it will retain its value. So I'm just imagining like if I were to buy this project here versus all the other projects that we have mentioned, right? But just because you guys have done enough research on the potential returns, if without all those returns, right, just looking from a normal person point of view, there's like easily 19 different properties. Not only you will not retain your value, you might lose money in the 4 or 5 years. So I that's my point of view. Also, like because sometimes we always think from a property scientist point of view. But sometimes from a person, right? I got no time, just give me something. I just want to spend money, right? Suddenly the brand's reputation means something here. That's my suddenly when I think about it, like, hey, it's I just want to buy something that will retain value for the next 4 years, then I will come back and see. It's not so much to make money, but just to have something. Yeah.
But
That's
don't
my
you
thought.
find it if you have more demand, the market, like people see this product as a good product, good investment value, then the prices go up?
It's just like Pavilion Suites though. It reminds me like when they were launching suites, so everybody like, oh, crazy. Who's going to live in the center of Bukit Bintang? So busy, right? Apparently, our past prime minister stayed there. So I don't know. So I think that there's a demand for the most expensive things. A few business people tell me before, like the rich people don't buy the best things; they buy the most expensive things. So like,
True also.
they are not to make money anyway, but as long as to just retain their value. So suddenly there's this different category of buyers in my opinion. When it comes to like 2,000 per square feet, anything below that, then maybe we still want to talk about ROI, still want to talk about comparison of value.
Is that it? Out of curiosity, do you think it's somewhat is more me trying to bullshit myself, comforting myself that yeah, I didn't buy this property to make money.
I don't
It's
know.
like someone who come and tell us, right? I don't like Richard Mille. They look like a toy watch. But the reality is that you cannot afford it to begin with, right? So so it's a way of how people justify things, right? And I really don't know if there's any rich people who buy property and don't mind losing money on the property.
So
You know what I mean? So
yeah, I spoke to owners of Four Seasons. Like why do you buy? Like then they are like, oh, just just put it there and diversify the portfolio. Then like, do you do any research? No, it's Four Seasons. Then like, that's why I haven't blown reached that status to judge them whether they lose money. So like it's just like when you say, oh, the property I buy for own stay, so it's okay to lose money lah, so kind of thing to just cover your ass lah. But actually deep down, don't know lah, I'm not in a position to judge people beyond me yet lah. If I can buy like one floor of Pavilion Suites, then I can judge them lah.
Or one floor.
One floor.
yeah, it's like people who bought sandwiches. I mean, like people probably don't make money out of it, right? But they bought it because of the brand. So I think it's really too much money. I think the way rich people bet is that they bet on scarcity, right? So they bet on rare things whereby it's produced in limited quantities, right?
Yep.
And that's how the watch game works, how the branded resident works, right? And that's why they command a certain premium, lah. And I mean, the good thing about buying branded development here is that when you don't make money, at least you own something nice. You know what I mean?
So that limits your losses.
I mean, like at the end of the day, for example, right? Let's use watch as an analogy, right? You could buy a $500,000 Patek, and today the value probably dropped about 400,000 or 350,000, right? Probably monitoring the market, right? But so what if you lose 100,000? So for you as a rich people, I can afford to lose it, and I'm wearing a Patek, lah. You know what I mean?
Yep. So there's another way of watches also that I just had a crazy conversation with. This one, I think almost Tan Sri level. I don't know, is it Dato Sri or Tan Sri? He's getting a lot of Hublots of retail.
Okay.
Which is once you walk out from the store, it loses half the value.
Yeah.
So
for now, lah.
So when I look at it, like why you buy such watches is to then he's like, oh, it's to show you guys buy watches to somewhat retain and make money. I got money to lose. I can afford to lose.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like I just purposely want to lose money. I can afford one. Then wow. So like when like China people go buy Mercedes buy all those like they can value retain across time, right? No, they are not interested at all. They are buying things just to whack the value.
So I think there's a comment here. It's about bragging right, lifestyle and prestige, right? I recall we had a client out of Singapore. He only wants to buy branded residence. But he's not interested in buying the cheapest. I just want to buy branded. right? So for status purposes, so I think, like I said, for status, yes, and people don't mind losing money. It's like, well, you could argue that this is probably buying like a Hublot, right? Rather
No
than
lah, I think
buying,
this one is not a Hublot lah. I think that okay lah. They are based on past performance. It retains value, ma.
right?
Mm.
Yeah. So I think it's just quite important for you guys to really understand why certain property rental cannot make sense, but the value holds. Right. So which is the purpose of the discussion today. If you want to understand psychology of money, how wealthy people who have got too much money to burn, buy certain things. They want to buy things to look good rather than, they buy things to actually make money. And obviously they wanted to make money, because if they make money, not only they look good, they also look like geniuses, right? And they've got a reputation to maintain. But I think if you can't make money, at least you look good doing it. Right? So in a way, it's like a justification. Okay, Albee, let's go. Next one.
Okay, the next one we have is Solasta in Dutamas. Okay, so this is in Dutamas. It's a prime established location just next to Mont Kiara. Currently the mega development around this corner is the KL Metropolis. It's a government oriented. So the other one is Asian saying this is multinational communities. We have a lot of international school around the corner. Probably this is the cheapest you can own in the whole Dutamas. Okay, so they presented the all high side, then ask. Of course, I know this product. Then I asked her, so why is it cheaper? They say, Ate is 1,000, Solasta is 1,002. Then I say, then why is it almost half of the price? Is they say, oh, okay, let's come to the next slide. So probably I agree to most of the thing that they say. The only downside probably is this is next to cemetery and also close to HTC lah. So after all, they at the end of the day, at least they still tell me without without they hide to me lah, this is not near to cemetery or HTC lah. Okay, so the other downside probably people are questioning this is hard because about the developer financial standing lah for this development itself. Okay, so this is Solasta. This is the details. You guys can just print screen. So net per square feet today is about 650 per square foot, or the lowest you can get is only one unit left, is about 640 or per square feet in block C. So in terms of the amenities around this, because this is quite close to Mont Kiara, so everything is actually quite complete. The only thing to highlight is because they have quite a variety of international schools around the corners lah. So it's quite suitable for people who want to go for those schools. That is probably one of the options you can get. Okay, so in terms of public transport, there will be a 800-meter away towards these MRT 3 Dutamas stations. Okay, in terms of long-term livability, is a great accessibilities, multinational communities, comprehensive amenities lah. In terms of mortgage, the 2-bedroom is about close to 2001, the 3-bedroom is about close to 2004. So for the median in Dutamas for whole, if we're covering, is about 910 per square feet today. The new one transacted, actually, this is from Solasta, it's close to 1,001 per square feet. The old one is about 700. Tiering is fall under tier 1. Upcoming supplies, we have Feeder Woods, we have Dimensions, we have Map 1 and so KL Midtown by Hap Seng. Booster wise is going to be the KL Metropolis Master Plan. This is a government-oriented development. Maturity point, I guess as for now, this is semi-matured because all the amenities and the office towers and other components, because this KL Metropolis, they actually have 9 components. So for it to be open up and also to be mature, I guess it still has some time to be, because most of it is still, I would say, 70% constructions over there. Okay. So in terms of MRO, they can go for whole unit, Airbnb, also co-living, because Airbnb is because of the convention center lah, they have a lot of conventions fast at this area. Okay, in terms of rentals wise, the agents were actually telling me about Solaris Park. So 1 bedroom is about 3,500 to 4,000. The other ones, similar layout one is about Ate Mont Kiara, about close to 1,000 into 2,002. So Icon Residence is actually quite old, close about 8 to 10 years from now. Size slightly bigger. Their 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom is actually close to 900 to 1,000 square feet. So their bedroom, one bedroom is about 2,500 to 3,000. Two bedrooms are 3,000 to 4,000. So if you're comparing, just taking the small sizes, comparison the town, maybe you can look into RT or Solaris Park lah. So in terms of their rental wise, actually, of course, can cover your mortgage lah. So without further ado, let's bring all our panelists to discuss about this Solasta, about this which is next to all these red flags. But people are still looking to buy in this Tutamas area. Do you think it's a good deal to go for? If you want to afford something in this metropolis or master plan development, I would say. Because from past record, for example, like KLCC or KL Central, actually also a master plan. They did quite well when they mature up the town. So to afford something at a cheapest in the price point that you can look at, do you think it's worth the investment value?
I'm a buyer. So
Means got bias.
so deal
Really?
definitely.
Yeah.
And to an extent that last year I think I was asking one of the team, like, should I get a few more? So okay lah. So just to make it worse, the downside is also the junction facing. So the junction that is shared between the government housing people, right? So the road, not the people, but the infrastructure there is not as great now.
Yeah, not as great now.
So it's they are fixing it at the roads. Then the other side will be the, what highway is that? NKVE. Yeah, so the block A is actually facing NKVE or the Bamboo Hills. If you want to see Bamboo Hills, is there lah. So it's going to be tremendously noisy as well. Looking backwards, you will have the KTM and Segambut area, so nothing great to see actually. That's why I buy very high floor. So yeah, so those are the things of the, then you got a very, very high density of residents around. Just to make people not buy, so I still got a chance to buy. But in terms of numbers, why cannot lie? Like, you just think about it, right? Like, future rental can cover, current rental can cover future installment. Right? And we have seen so many times, like all the cemetery, all the one will not affect price at all. Right? It only affects overpriced properties, which will not perform anyway without the cemetery. Also, they cannot perform one. Yeah. So for own stay wise, then I don't know own stay, because I don't really, I moved out from the location already. Our office moved out from the location, so I'm not so familiar already on the status. But investment I'm getting, so I'm not thinking about whether to get more or not.
At your
Okay.
price point.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, at my price point, don't need to think lah, right? But now got the price revision already. Right? The price revision already, right? Yeah, make money already lah, but want to make more lah. Tamaknya manusia ni. Yeah, William.
Right, thanks, Iherng. So I think actually I also got one, but I mean on the other block lah. I'm at the block C side, also the highest floor actually.
Highest.
Yeah, I chose the highest floor lah. Highest floor, block C. Yeah lah, because of the view lah. Because low floor next week you got the government already mah, government quarters. So no floor not as nice. Higher floor you have the better view lah. Basically overall. I mean, look at the simulation, right? They got the sales gallery. So I think that will help in terms of rentals later on. If you want to sell also. I think own stay wise, right? I mean, there's a lot of options, a better one, I would say. But then if you say people like fresh grad or small family, right, want to stay in the so-called up tier area, like the Tamasong Kera, I think it's one of the few options you can stay there with a cheaper rental, right? I think right now if you want to stay in the area, cheaper one, you're looking to HPRC or those old condos along the Jalan Kera Trigot, right? So the Tamas side, I don't think you have unless you go all the way to or the Putramas area, lah, right? This will be the newer option, right? I think rental will be cheaper compared to like things like Solasta Park, Atevong Kara, right? And of course, slightly bigger size lah. So for small family and fresh grad want to stay in this atas area, I think it's a very good option for them lah. I mean, not much option also lah. Anyhow, so this will be one for them, which means rental wise, you should be targeting those lah, I think. So those want to stay in that area and at a cheaper price. But at a cheaper price, like what Sean said, you already covered your installment by a lot. So yeah, you get really good return, basically. So if you want to buy investment, right, like definitely it is one of them. I mean, definitely deal. Honestly, depends on your own background. If you're atas one, I don't think you want to stay there. You stay in Solasta Park, all the Peter Woods. That's for me. Albee?
For me, yes, actually due for both lah. So size-wise, yes, it's more suitable for small groups of families who want to stay in a prime area. Locations, connectivity is quite great. If you talk in investment value, yes, they're considering all those red flags. So this is why you can afford at this price point. But yes, we have seen so many of case study, even in Kepong, even in KLCC, for those next to this cemetery, actually don't really affect the values. The value still goes up to be there because they see the investment value. And that's why I say that's when there's a demand, people see I can get cash flows from this property itself. So after that they still want to go and buy in at this area. So for this price point and also the median of the area for investment is definitely a deal for me as well.
In the interest of full disclosure, I will most likely own more than 10 units here. So it's my retirement plan.
Kecilnya
It's my-
aku.
it's my retirement plan, right? Because the reason why it becomes my proper retirement plan is because it's the only property right now in Malaysia. If you're talking about near on the corn, you can buy 30% below median from both per square foot and net price point of view. Right? So I think the last deal of Agree, we reviewed Skies, right? And Skies was rated very highly from investment point of view because from a net price point of view, the cheapest, but per square foot wise, it's still just over about 20%. But for this area whereby the average median for new property is 900 per square foot onwards, and we are buying at well below 630 per square foot, right? So it becomes a no-brainer. So from both size and net price point of view, is the only option of 2-bedroom below 500,000 and 3-bedroom below 600,000. In fact, it's cheaper than Segambut. It's cheaper than your outer Dutamas proper. I think there's a comment here, Bamboo Hills, right? And Bamboo Hills is even more expensive. When the area of Bamboo Hills as of today is struggling to command above 4,000 rental or above 3,000 rental. This area, easy peasy, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, will command above 3,000. And I don't know what is going to be worse, whether you are staying next to a quiet graveyard or you are staying opposite of a mosque whereby you got 5 times of azan per day. Yet, the most expensive property today in the whole of Dutamas is Solaris Park, which is right opposite of Masjid Wilayah, the largest mosque right in Kuala Lumpur. And the value has actually gone up. It was selling for expensive, 1,050, 1,001 per square foot. Today has gone up even more, right? So for us, we got no doubt. My only disadvantage versus William and Sean is that kalau hantu tu cakap Melayu, aku faham. For Sean and William, if hantu tu cakap Melayu, you can just say I tak faham, right? So tak ada kacau. And William bought property next to a graveyard in Kepong, and today that property, because it was available at the right price, right size, right facility, today is commanding a rental of 4 ringgit per square foot. It's a record high in Kepong, despite being next to a graveyard, a Chinese graveyard, right? So Chinese area next to a Chinese graveyard and still do very well. Right, so for own stay, the reason why it's not a 5-star simply because, like what Sean has said, the accessibility, the jam can be quite horrendous at peak hours. Not many people can accept the fact that they're gonna stay quite nearby a cemetery, even though you can't see it, right? And the high tension cable, again, I don't know why it has always been an issue. When so far it has been proven lah, many property along Pasaran Dutamas all has got high tension cable. They not stop it from making money lah, basically double in value. Investment wise, this is the cheapest tier one property you can buy anywhere right now in Klang Valley. There's nothing cheaper. It's the only property that you can buy at 30% below median from both per square foot and net price point of view, right? So for investment, very, very clear. Own stay, some people will not be comfortable. That's why 4-star. But investment wise, capital gain and cash flow point of view, this is probably what we rate as the highest so far in the country in the last 5 years. Which is why my retirement plan is here lah. Right? I like skies. I'm buying a couple of units there, but this one is my more than 10 unit lah. My retirement plan is here. Right? Now, will I stay there? Given what I need as of today, probably not. Similar, I won't stay in the skies too. But not from investment point of view, I'm hoping to make a clean, 3 to 5 million net profit of capital gain out of my units there. Right? So that's what I see lah. Right? Hey, by the way, guys, if you have any question, please put it in Q&A, not put it in chat. Then we can answer towards the end. Okay? Like, Albee?
Okay, the next one we have this I receive a lot.
Ah.
A lot, and the
This
ads
one
is
very
like a
active.
lot.
Clouthaus.
The ads I've been seeing it for the last 3 months. Very, very active.
Yeah, so we have Clouthaus at KLCC. Okay, so without further ado, let's go with the introduction. From agent's point of view, they're marketing as a branded residence. This is going to be a hotel at Tower 1 and the resident at Tower 2. The hotel is going to managed by Paradox, a branded hotel management from other country. They're mainly at Canada. So the other selling point they're selling me is actually the infinity pool facing directly towards KLCC. She say that, oh, you have a lot of endowment in this KLCC, but there's no sky pools that face at KLCC. Okay, so they're selling me all this. And they also sell me the RI expectation is about at least at 8 to 10%. This is going to be an Airbnb hotspot. This Clouthaus residence is going to sell for Airbnb. So it's a bit different from what you see from pavilions where we discussed at the very first place that says strictly no Airbnb. But this is going to sell Airbnb. So what they told me is the Paradox daily rate is going to expecting at about 1,000 per night. So they're expecting this Clouthaus residence Airbnb rate is about 600 per night. So from the smaller layout,
1,000 per night?
Yeah, 1,000. 1,000. They say the Paradox hotel is going to be 1,000. So to compensate, as this is don't have breakfast, all the store services, everything. Okay, this is just purely Airbnb. So they're expecting you to give it as a 600 daily rate per night. Okay, so put into question mark for me because we did quite deep thorough research for this KLCC Airbnb, the rates and things, right? So they're expecting at about 80%, so close to about 24 to 25 days to be operated throughout the month. So this is how the RI going to be about 8 to 10%. Okay, so from our point of view, okay, for me, purely for this, I guess it's really Airbnb and tourism hotspot for KLCC. The only downside is higher entry price, which I'm going to review. So if you wanted to get this Clouthaus, okay, so the net price per square foot is about 2,005. The lowest floor you can get is about close to 2,450. Average is about 2,005, around that. So they have different tower. The Tower 1 is the Paradox Hotel and so the residence together. Tower 2 is the Clouthaus residence. So actually both units add up together with the hotel itself is going to be about 1,000 units. So this is going to be a freehold, unlike the Pavilion Square, which is a leasehold. So for this, they come with a proposed and also convertible dual key unit. Okay, the facilities, yes, they have pretty much, they also sell with their sky pool, sky lounge area. Okay, the gym room is at level 33, just to highlight. Okay, so For me, okay, this is on the own stay vibes. This is KLCC, quite accessible. Okay, public transport, you have LRT, Ampang Park, MRT, KLCC. For me, long-term loyalty is great connectivity, accessibility, plenty working opportunities for those who are looking for those oil and gas. This is their territory at KLCC. KLCC, because of this Airbnb tourism area, so they have the dedicated walking pathway. So this is a walking community, something similar towards Montclair. But of course, if you are, I'm talking about those closest towards this Petronas Twin Tower sites. Okay, if you go towards a Conley Stoner area, it's much more quiet. Okay, mortgage wise, a one bedroom is about close to 7,000 too. A two bedroom is close to 11,000. Convertible dual key is about close to about 13,000. The largest size three bedroom is about 14,000. So, and also they sell with difference, if those facing KLCC view and those not facing KLCC view, the price of difference is about 800K. 800K to 1 million. So they talked to me, I was like, huh? So 800K to 1 million. I said, yes. Then I was like, how can it be so much different? So the comparison they're actually taking for Clouthaus residents, they're going to sell this branded, right? So the close comparison they are taking is actually our Four Seasons. So I say Four Seasons also, those facing KLCC and those non-facing is about 800 to 1 million differences in their price point. So they're saying our Four Seasons is transacted about 3,000 something. So this is why to afford this Clouthaus is actually quite affordable. So for me, we have the record, to track about the transacted price. Actually, Four Seasons, the highest recorded was actually close to 2,007 per square foot only. That's asking, of course, 3,000, I think is normal. That's the asking, but not the real transactions going to be lah. So the whole KLCC is about, at this Jalan P. Ramlee and Jalan Yat Kuan Sing, which is this close connectivity lah. We take comparison in this area only. It's about close to 1,007 today. O1 is about close to 1,001. So of course you have further down at a much more affordable price point. Okay, but we just comparing this P. Ramlee Road and also Yat Kuan Sing Road for this Clouthaus residents. So Cherry is a tier 1. Supplies wise, we have quite a lot. We have Hannah's, we have Hugo's, we have Dawn, which is also selling you the direct facing towards KLCC. And we have also the other branded source of retail building coming up from Oxley. Okay, boosters wise, I guess KLCC is actually quite matured. The only people are staying in probably is because of HSR. Maturity point for me is matured. MRO is going to be Airbnb. For them, they are really targeting for Airbnb. That's how they justify the ROI and also the occupancy. So the other one is whole unit. So they take Four Seasons as a close comparison for me, and also the W Hotel. So they are justifying the rental per square foot for this area is about 9 to 10 ringgit per square feet. So of course, for Four Seasons, a one bedroom is about 9,000 to 11,000. Two bedroom about 12,000 to 18,000. But of course, size is actually bigger as well. Three bedroom, we can go up to 18 to 30,000. Okay, the one W Hotel is the Tropicana one. One bedroom is about 4,500 to 6,000. So now you see the huge I would say huge difference in terms of the price rental in this area. Okay, for this really, really so-called Four Seasons branded hotel, and those I would say branded or common that you can get in the market. So the other one really just next to this Clouthaus is the Sky Street lah. Okay, two bedroom is about 3,500 to 4,000. The other one is Escort lah, Star Residence. Their one bedroom is about 3,008 to 4,005. So for me, if they going to justify with me with the 10 ringgit rental per square feet, for me it's a bit question mark. Especially with this Clouthaus, the entry price is actually quite high. It's about 2,005, the lowest 2,004 lah. So per square feet that you can get. But your mortgage is higher. Of course, this is why they say Paradox is selling 1,000 rate per night. You have to go with 600, because if you didn't offer that price, it's hardly for you to cover and make the ROI back. And across all the Airbnb units in KLCC, one bedroom At off-peak season is about 300. The peak season is about 400, 450. It's quite common. Occupancy, yes, is going to be 75 to 80%. I guess that is true. But for me, it's when there's so much of supply, where your mortgage is so high, you also want to offer a higher rate. Of course, your occupancy will definitely be lower. So those who are able to give a much more lower in their daily rates actually have a higher occupancy. Of course, if you comparing all across those Jalan Yap Kwan Sing with really also walking distance towards this KLCC, sharing similar spec and view, will also get the similar occupancy. That actually put me into a question about the 8 to 10% RI when you have so much supply in the town and you have to offer a higher daily rate because of the higher entry price point you're looking, so you only can make back your RI. So the only question I have for this Clouthaus. So let's bring our panelists to this targeting for Airbnb. Purely Airbnb going to make you money kind of property. What do you think in this KLCC? 2004, 2005, branded also selling you. What do you think? Going to retain the value or not?
This is
Not
like
Pavilion
the
already. Yeah,
Jason
global.
Before-
review like that. Mahal nak
before-
mampui.
Yeah. By the way, guys, before we start, I have to give the award for tonight, right? The most scammy agent for any development for tonight, I think the award will have to go for this development agent. 8 to 10% ROI, 1,000 penat, right? And they are very good at psychology. They use the anchoring of Four Seasons, despite knowing that this is nowhere near the Four Seasons level of brand. The only thing comparable to Four Seasons are probably going to be things like, for example, Kempinski, St. Regis, if there's going to be one in KLCC, right? But other than that, I don't think it's comparable. So the most misleading agent for tonight will have to go for this development, right? So very smart. So in the meantime, go William. Deal or grill?
Okay, honestly, grill. Because I have my personal bias, I like Lenovo more, right? So Clouthaus, and the view also of it, like Clouthaus is on the one side, one button of it, right? So I don't think the view is as good as the other option, right? At this price point. So honestly, unless you like the fancy goldenish facade, I look at the website like wow, quite it's very how to say very fancy lah. A bit like Artemon type with the coloring of the facade. So honestly, I think for me it's grill, right? But investment, definitely I think grill lah, right? Like along the road again comparing the cheaper price, right? And it's not what Sean said, kind of a Pavilion branded thing. It's a global, although it's not a bad developer, but it's not Pavilion lah. So it's questionable in terms of the price, at least retention thing, at least to stay the same price after it's VP. Because you look at the few launches there, after VP, I think they all goes down like what, less than 2K per square feet mostly in KLCC side. So yeah. How about you, Sean?
I don't understand why they chose the Airbnb route. I really don't. Like at such a 2,600 or 2,500 kind of per square feet kind of pricing, right? If you like just now you think about it, right? There will be a bunch of very rich people who don't know where to spend their money. Maybe I want to buy one as a trophy. That's one. Maybe I just want to buy one and bring occasional girlfriends there, right? So once you make it into
Boleh ulang balik Sean? Boleh ulang balik? I macam tak berapa dengar
It's
lah.
recording.
Dia like,
Buy one for what,
kenapa Faizul tak pick up pun?
I macam tak berapa dengar lah tadi.
You boleh tengok YouTube untuk ulangan semula.
Kita tak sangka.
Yeah. But then like the when you do that, suddenly you lose out all of this potential. Like, okay, you compare to Four Seasons, right? Four Seasons can fetch such long-term prices because it's private. Like to just get in, there will be a door person. There will be 3 checkpoints just to get into your room. There's a lobby for a lobby for a lobby, another lobby. Wow, crazy a lot of lobby one. Yeah, so I can get why the rent. So long rental you don't fetch. Private reasons you don't fetch. Then when you talk about your Airbnb, that is going to be 600 when your hotel is 1,000. People stay at 1,000 hotel, they get to brag, right? I get to go and stay, wow, whichever Shangri-La for 1,200, whatever lah. Then will you go and boast about a very expensive Airbnb? Meaning the nature of Airbnb is to have a cheaper short-term accommodation compared to the hotel, ma. So like if the objective is to get KLCC view, then you are not the best view also. So I really don't know who is advising them, right, to go the Airbnb route. I mean,
I don't think they have a choice. That's the thing, right? Anything other than Airbnb, and they don't have like a branded residence of Four Seasons equivalent coming in to anchor the place, right? So they really got nothing else other than Airbnb, which is why I think they are going for that particular route. Now, they could have gone for Raffles, for example, right? Raffles out of Singapore, right? Part of the Escort group, which is one level higher compared to Escort, right? So, for example, the place that I stay in Jakarta, the Escort is probably about 600 ringgit per night, while the Raffles is 50% higher, it's close to 1,000. Located in a much better area, right? So I felt that I could have gone that route, but it's very strange, it's like if you can understand the logic of people paying 10,000 ringgit for a one bedroom in Four Seasons, because if you divide it, it's less than 400 ringgit per night. It is available almost at a 50% discount compared to you booking a room in Four Seasons. And you got a much bigger place too, and you can still say, I stay in Four Seasons. This one is like, you ask guys, club mayor, you know. So when I asked Albee to go and look at Clouthaus, and she was like, what? You know. So you don't command the same level of premium, and I fully agree. It's a mistake, basically.
Then the Canadian part is because they have developments in Canada before, like this developer. That's why they have the affinity lah. But again, it's not about your affinity ma. It's about the locals market affinity ma.
Unless maybe their plan is to sell majority of the unit to Canadian guys. Right? So it's like, Country Garden.
All China people come.
All China people buy, right? So then it makes sense. It's a strategy that as of today I cannot comprehend, and it is puzzling for me, puzzling for you lah. But if they are targeting Canadian, why do I see the advertisement the last 3 months non-stop?
And they let local agent sell such the highest price product in KLCC now. And you let agents sell. That is wow. So because my friends works in the company, he asked me want to buy. Okay lah, like if I suddenly I kena strike Toto, maybe lah. But now when you tell me it's Airbnb, right? Even I strike Toto, I don't want to buy. And when I buy such that 2 million, 3 million for a 10% return, I think the entire target audience thing is like you speak to a person who can afford 3 million, right? Does he want your 10% annual return kind of? The mindset is already different, ma. So I really don't get it. And maybe the hotel is going to be superb. I hope so. Then the next door service, the Airbnb tower, then it kind of pulls down like the entire lobby is going to look like a what? Pasar malam like that. I don't know. I don't know who is advising because you openly, okay, maybe the communication from the developer, it's not Airbnb. Maybe it's like a service residence with a lobby designated like a hotel. But when agents communicate, oh, this one can do Airbnb. Then the first thing you think about is like all the like the Lion's Den, like all like that. Then, I don't know.
Lions Den? You're talking about Sleeping Lion, ah?
Sleeping Lion, Lion's Den, Sleeping Lion. Yeah.
uh.
So like then you straight away the entire association of images, then like you, and you want to fetch the highest price. Like compared to this, right? Immediately I walk into Pavilion and buy tomorrow. Compared to this, right? Like no doubt, like even so the commitment from the developer, then even if the Pavilion Square cannot sell out, at least they will retain, they will not compromise, they will not go and work with Faizul or just to clear off. Right?
What do you mean? No, what do you mean? What do you mean?
No, like just okay. But for this one, like you are openly just saying, oh, we're going to do Airbnb, right? Because other plans don't really like. Yeah,
Maybe
so
for this price 2004, 2005.
yes, if this is 800 per square feet, okay lah, we can understand the
Wow.
strategy lah, the entire target audience. And how many people walk around can afford this kind of property in Malaysia? This is like T6, T5 kind of pricing, eh? Wow.
So they sell you Airbnb to make profit, so get investor to go in.
Like again, like an investor who can afford this price, right? You still interested in this kind of product, man?
Yeah. That's why I a bit question about the return lah, when the rate they're going to offer, the occupancy, calculate. Macam cannot get lah. And the mortgage. So it's like not
Just
really.
to think about it. Can you go back the slide just now? Like the monthly installment is like 8,000. To own the smallest unit,
7,002.
your monthly income is 30,000. Your monthly income 30,000. At what level you are in corporate Malaysia?
T3 lah, I guess.
Right? And you
Your
suddenly tell
minimum
me,
C-suite.
and these are the smartest people. Then you tell them about Airbnb. You want to look for a water fish of this level, also not easier. So I don't know. I just don't understand why. Is it a mistake in translation or whatsoever? Yeah, that's my take. Well, a bit of rant today.
So, grill. Both sides.
Grill lah, kau lah, grill lah.
Okay, Albee?
Grill also. The value, the price, maybe you can get something at a lower price point, and also better privacy. Yeah, because this price point is pretty high. Yeah, so much of units. You have the tower with the hotel, service residence for tower 1, and your own service residence. So quite high dense, and I don't buy with the investment ROI that they calculated for me. So I also go for the grill.
Because if you were to compare like that, right? Suddenly, Four Seasons makes sense.
Four Seasons always makes sense though.
Like you just compare like that, right? Like Four Seasons is such a good product now. Yep.
William?
Yeah, grill. As per
He say already, ma?
Yep. Grill.
Okay. Mine, to be honest, I'm very happy at Clouthaus. I love this development. I'm happy that this development exists because we're buying in KLCC at 1,005 per square foot. So it makes us look very fucking good lah. And we have less than 200
every level possible.
Right. So the clients who are buying at 1,005 with rooftop pool and unblocked view, will be quite happy lah, basically, right? And we've got less than 200 units, right? So we have what? How many units is that, Albee, in this development?
This one is close to 1,000 with the hotel together with the service residence. It's close to 1,000.
So we have less than 180 units, and they've got 1,000. So from a density point of view, we are not even 20% of that. And we are buying at almost half price at 1,005. So yeah, personally, I'm very happy. I also think this development makes everyone who bought anything from Exim in this area also very happy. Like, wow, I'm smart now. Say this guy launching at 2008. So I bought at 2000, 1006, 1008. Everyone is happy because Clouthaus exists. So Clouthaus is there to make everyone who bought recent KLCC property happy. So on behalf of all the investors in Malaysia, I thank Clouthaus for existing, right? But definitely grill for me, right? Definitely grill for me. Okay, next, Albee.
Okay, next one is a bit special. This is Flora Hijauan Gombak. Okay, you guys can have a look on the design on here. So we have a mosque in here. Okay, so agent marketing point of view is going to be a strategic location because it's 7-minute car walkway to this LRT and also terminal Bersepadu Gombak, and the upcoming will be the ECR connecting it the highways. This is going to be a luxury condo in this Gombak area. Strategic locations, design wise, the Turkey architecture's concept have more than 20 facilities. I mean, of course, in this Gombak, this is considered one of the luxurious condo that you can get in here. And also on the next slide, I'll be presenting a bit about downside because for location is quite strategic, triple TOD. The only downside is this is a Malay reserve, so we have some people also asking us to review about this. For those who are looking forward, it's actually they have for this fancy kind of design people are looking for in this Gombak. So for those who are looking to buy Gombak, so they actually ask whether this is a good buy because in Gombak, there's actually not much new development near to this LRT also this terminal Bersepadu area. So previous launches last time, I guess there's one already in Project Sakit, so there's not upcoming one. So this is the one that actually people ask whether they can buy with this luxury they can afford at a quite affordable price point. So if you wanted to look for this Flora Hijauan, right? So the net price point is about close to 400 per square feet. But this is going to be a high dense, close to about 1,007 units. They have a big mosque to cater the community. It's just within this development itself. Okay, so in terms of accessibility, this is at Gombak MR2 Duke SB also plus. Actually, this Flora Hijauan Gombak, this site, right? If you go further down, it's near to this KL East Mall site already. So mall-wise, vibrancy area, you have to go towards this KL East Mall site area lah. So long-term livability, I would guess, is just next to the main road, next to the near to the public transport, and those near to the malls. Mortgage-wise, if you look to buy a smallest unit, a 2-bedroom is about close to 1,000. The largest unit is close to 1,005. So in terms of the median Gombak today, there's no new condo being transacted. Actually, most of the condo is quite old in Gombak. Okay, more than about 8 to 10 years from now. So its current median is actually quite similar to this launching price point. So maturity price, I guess, semi-matured because this is not much amenities being developed at this moment. Supplies wise, as for now, there's no new upcoming at Gombak. Boosters for me, if you want to say yes, we can justify the ECRL going to be booster for this product. But for me, not in those really mega kind of things. So multiple rental options, the only probably is the whole unit lah. So in terms of rental, the really close comparisons is the Putra Villa, which is also close to the terminal Bersepadu. The 3-bedroom is about 1,007, but this is pretty old as well. It's about close to 8 or 10 years from now. Okay, so I guess the rental will be able to cover whatever mortgage you have in the product itself. But let's bring all to the panelists to see Gombak as an area to invest. Is it a view or a grill, something that you can buy a medium, a luxury condos, you know, the connectivity to all this. But unfortunately, Gombak doesn't have really much new development. The other one that was launched quite a few years ago wasn't done yet. But yeah, this is something maybe fresh in the market where Gombak people can consider. What do you guys think? Is it, if you are here, like from this local within this area, would you go for this one?
I suspect this is only relevant for me given that it's Malay
Malay
reserve and none
reserve.
of you are Malay.
Ya lor.
So
Just like,
so mau beli for own stay pun tak boleh, right? Mau
Yeah.
beli for
Not
investment pun
entitled.
tak boleh. Unless you ada girlfriend Melayu ke, boyfriend Melayu ke, bini Melayu ke, something like that lah. So apa tu? Okay. So on the surface, this project is interesting because it's cheap, right? At 400 ringgit per square foot is very, very cheap lah. In fact, I think there's nothing cheaper as far as TOD is concerned. Anywhere nearby LRT in the last 10, potentially even if you can stretch all the way to might be even 12, 13 years, right? The problem for me when it comes to this development here is that the information is very weird. Sekejap
Quite
ejen cakap,
limited lah.
sekejap ejen cakap high end. But bila kita tengok the list of the so-called proposed facility is very low end. It's very similar to a rumah Selangorku kind of like spec.
I mean,
Right,
if you go to
so-
a web page, also quite like not well maintained, not those fancy
Yeah,
thing
so
lah. So
anyway, because we saw a lot of advertisements, so we thought we should discuss, because there was already some form of discussion and it seems to be quite hot lah. But again, there's very little information, right? With regards to the developer, with regards to the development, and the reality, we don't even know what's the actual selling price as of today. Kan? Betul lah, Albee? At
Yeah.
least lah, from the conversation that we have had, right? So indicatively, they are looking at about 400 ringgit per square foot, which makes this development normally lah, from an investment and own stay point of view, if you want to buy something cheap, and if it's truly a high-end property, then it becomes a steal lah. I suspect it will not be a high-end property. I suspect it will be closer to a rumah Selangorku, rumah wilayah, kind of like spec at this kind of price point, because if you understand construction, it's next to impossible to build a high-end property, at this level of price point lah. If they can do it, then anyone can do it lah, right? And then the developer is relatively quite unknown, right? So new developer, price point very interesting, but very scattered level of information to the point we don't even know what's the actual price per square foot. We don't even know what is going to be the net price for the property, right? We also don't know whether is it going to be RSKU ke ataupun some form of affordable housing. We just don't know for now, right? So there's a lot of there's lack of information that makes it very difficult to say. But anyway, if number one, right? So this is a caveat, right? So my rating is based on a lot of caveat here. So there's really lack of information, right? So we don't even know what's the net price per square foot. We don't even know size. APDL pun macam tak keluar lagi. I also don't know APDL dah keluar ataupun tidak, when they are legally allowed to go and sell ataupun tidak. But based on a net price of below 400 ringgit per square foot, if it's a middle and upper above, right, not a rumah Selangorku, rumah wilayah spec, I think this is a 4-star property for own stay, right? For investment point of view, it is a minimum 3 star lah. For rental, most likely can cover. It is a TOD development, right? It is in a way cheap enough. But again, the big question mark to me is the facilities lah, because looking at the gambar of the facility being provided by the developer themselves, it looks to be like a very basic rumah Selangorku, rumah wilayah kind of like spec lah, even for the facade, right? From here nampak macam mahal, tapi bila you tengok the close up tu nampak macam tak berapa mahal langsung lah basically. So again, because there's lack of information, it's very hard to do. But again, with this caveat of whereby developer reputation okay, right? The
But
price
it's quite
point
hard to
is
find information, like for
Yeah.
this developer.
so is that is that mysterious? So it's very weird, right? It's very, very weird, right? So if anyone has got any comment or questions, please put it in the Q&A. If you know of anything about the developer, maybe we can highlight. Because the reality is that we've been searching for high and dry, in fact, right? And apa tu? And then there was a couple of rumor flying around that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Tapi like I said lah, because it's rumor, I'm not going to address it tonight. Right? Right? So these are all rumors lah. So we don't want to say anything lah. But for me, what I hear not so great. But that's our verdict lah. If developer okay, price point below RM400 per square foot, and this is a medium cost and above punya kind of spec, we'll give it a 4-star minimum own stay verdict. Investment verdict will be 3-star. Kalau spec dia macam rumah Selangor, rumah wilayah, own stay just becomes 3-star, investment akan become 2-star. Right, so the star can change depending on the final product lah, because as of today, I don't think they have actually finalized. Right, so tapi agent dah banyak jual. A lot of agents are marketing this and apa semua tu, looks quite hot, looks very attractive, right? But we really try to find information and there's very little information. So yeah, it's hot tapi little information. I also don't know whether the price point can stay. Even the final product will be exactly the same as what has been pitched, right? So yeah, that's the verdict for Flora Hijauan, right?
But how is it a TOD like in that area? Yeah lah, I
LRT
know
Gombak.
Yeah lah, but yang Gombak jauh
Huh?
I look at the site plan. You need to cross MR2
So they're gonna build
Well,
they say they're gonna build it.
Agents is saying lah, they will build it lah.
Across MRR2. Wow. Across the terminal some more. Wow.
Yeah. So agent is
Say-
saying they're gonna build it lah. So again,
Cover walkway.
for now, we've covered walkway some more. So
And you sell at that
from-
price some more. Wow.
yeah, mantap kan?
Like no need money one. Wow.
Right. So if you work backwards from a PZ point of view, you find it to be very interesting
You.
right? So I so that's the maximum I can comment because there's so little information. We can probably comment a little bit more the moment the project is basically from a product and price point of view is fully finalized. Yeah, but from the description, very attractive. Very attractive.
Because Combat don't have much new one that is there.
Correct.
So probably this is the one, the last one already, not sure, seems to going to be constructing back, but so this is one probably is the
Are you
one that
referring to
people looking-
hectare?
Yes.
Oh, why is such a taboo? Is it a big taboo among the? Is it a big taboo? Like hectare, is it a big taboo? Did I like make a very big mistake now?
No, because it's it's Project Sakit, right? But
It's
yes,
not
now
Project Sakit is abandoned.
yeah.
Sakit and abandoned is two different things,
Yeah, to avoid that people say that I say abandoned, so I saw
Oh.
news that they have some people going to reconstruct it back lah.
Why not?
I saw the news last year, so I not going to say it's as considered abandoned since like someone is going to potentially take up the project. So I probably this is the only concern for buying at this quite attractive price point and with limited information. So probably if someone who know more about this maybe can share because people also quite concerning maybe this
okay.
potentially I don't know, so people also ask me to find. I was like okay, I will try to find who is it, the developer and things information.
Okay, I don't mind to
regarding
be the bad guy. Okay, let me be the bad guy, right? It's like, is it done by the same guys?
but I
On
cannot
paper-
find I don't
on-
know.
On paper is not.
I know it's so yeah. Okay.
So the formal answer to you is that on paper is not.
Not.
And the way it works, right? Because this is the reason why we have, as of today, right, from a legislation point of view, we're actually doing a pretty good job, which is why we don't have a lot of abandoned projects of today, right? So if for example, let's say, for example, me, Sean, William, Albee go into a property development company together and we develop a property and the property become Project Sakit, or the property development company will be blacklisted by KPKT until we clear. And not only the development company will be blacklisted by KPKT, all of the directors in that company will also be blacklisted.
Yep.
So me and Sean cannot start another ABC company. But there's a lot of rumor flying around
So
when
that's
it
the
comes.
rumor lah.
That's the rumor. So
everybody okay. So look at it. So I just look at it. Then why everybody acting so weird now? So I think that's wow. My sense of reading the room not bad.
not bad lah you. Very
So-
very. In fact, very very good.
So
Right,
okay,
so-
I think that's my take on it, right? If it's too cheap, right? Okay, the main reason why the hectare project is abandoned and it's a big deal is because it's sold out and it's still abandoned. So it's a different scenario if it's not sold out but abandoned. So you still have easy, like if a next contractor come in and I rescue the project, right, I can still sell higher to make back some losses. But when it's fully sold and it's abandoned, it's a clear mismanagement of funds. Yeah, so or you don't know, or you do development for the first time, you don't know how to calculate cost. So it's either one. So when you suddenly have a project of such crazy, amazing price, but sometimes borderline too amazing, that's the problem also lah. So it's I just had a conversation with Vybe about abandoned projects. Like their team is severely rescuing all the projects like this. But unfortunately, this is not under DBKL, I think. It's just under DBKL, so I'm not too sure. Yeah, also the like under rumor Vybe and things like that.
So there are two sets, right? What Sean has said just now, right? So one is that the reason why project got delayed, abandoned, sebab sales tak cukup to cover the cash flow to build, to finish building. On the other spectrum here is that the property is fully sold tapi still abandoned ataupun delay, right? It become project rumah sakit because it could either be a cash flow mismanagement, it could also be the fact that the projection and the estimation of cost was
Too
Wrong.
far wrong.
all right. So and obviously property that was launched pre-COVID, which then, for example, if they don't hedge properly, right, and then you go into a post-COVID price point, developer, the contractor wind down, they have to appoint another contractor, this new contractor check up, everything now goes up by 30% more. So when your margin is so low for medium cost housing or low cost housing, when you got no margin or your margin is so low, you can no longer afford to go and appoint a contractor. Right? So yeah, that's basically, I suspect, what has happened to hectare lah. Right? So again, coming back to Flora, this project seems too cheap. Right? Is there a similarity between these two hectare? I don't know. Right? Like I said, there are a couple of rumors flying around. We are still verifying. And again, at the end of the day, they haven't finalized the price point. Until they finalize the price point, we are not going to be able to give a fair rating, right? Other than the fact that we can, as of today, have an open discussion, right? So I think I'm glad to see a lot of people from the comments are learning, right, about why certain project can be delayed ataupun abandoned.
But I think if you guys see already, go and visit already, booking is free. Just book first. I think book first, no harm lah. Don't take loan lah. Book first.
Okay. Next.
So that's for the Flora Hijauan. So without further ado, we go to the last one. So the Vybe Cyberjaya, where people have a lot of sentimental about Cyberjaya, past before COVID, where people say, Cyberjaya lose a lot of money, but yeah, Cyberjaya still have new upcoming launches. So this is the Vybe that we can see in the market. So agent is marketing at this is high ROI, 6.5% for Cyberjaya. High demand area investment area where Cyberjaya is going to be the tech hub for now. Best value, most affordable that you can get this. If this affordable housing probably is about this price point, about 200K, but unfortunately now it's also so the one that's the normal unit is about 270K. Okay, this is going to be a freehold. So in terms of our real SP, I guess is probably low density and a freehold, good cash flow for the size in this Cyberjaya. Practical layout for 1 bedroom. The only downside probably is not walking distance to MRT because in Cyberjaya there's at much more vibrant area, pretty good connectivities. So this is not really that comparable to those lah. Or this probably is a bit downside of this. Okay, so in terms of number of unit, this is close to 600 units. Completion is about 2027. Net price point today you can get is about 510 per square feet. So this is just mentioning the size, only one size only. Okay, it's a 450 square feet, 1 bedroom or studio. Okay, so accessibility, max, elites, LDP. Okay, MNC, we have plenty of schools and also colleges, university in this Cyberjaya itself. Okay, we have Link Wing in the area, Hero Wards. Public transport is 2.8 km to the MRT Cyberjaya. From what agents share to us is there will be a MRT feeder bus also, and also a Kumpo is a sort of shuttle bus will fetch you to this MRT Cyberjaya in front of this the Vybe itself. So long-term livability is near to school, medical centers or hospital, near to grocery. I mean, Cyberjaya, if you want to say it's big, it's not really that big, but within these communities itself is, in terms of the road connectivity is quite good as well. Mortgage for 450 square feet is close to about 1,001 today lah. Okay, so Cyberjaya today for the whole comparing new and old is close to 500 per square feet. New is about 520. Old is about 450 per square feet. Tiering is about tier 2. Supplies wise, there's actually plenty of land to be developed in Cyberjaya. So this Myra Cove 1 and 2 series, Sanderling is the high rise lah and also Myra Cove. The other probably is the landed by SP30 and also Gamuda. Boosters why I guess is the tech hub, right? Government already now Cyberjaya is going to be the tech hub, and so it actually attract quite a lot of investment into our company, but also this story also apply to our Madini or JB areas to be the tech hub area. Okay, maturity point I guess is semi-matured because many amenities to be improved and also government initiated project to be conducted in this Cyberjaya lah. MRO is this going to be a whole unit rental? So for this 1 bedroom or studio in Cyberjaya, okay, to clear this sentimental when I do research, actually quite surprised as well. Their 1 bedroom is about 1,003 to 1,006 today lah for new one. Central Soho is close to about 10 years from now. So 1,002 to 2,004. 2 bedroom is about 2,000 to 2,004. So actually 1 bedroom, comparing the rental and also mortgage, actually is able to cover in terms of the rental wise, quite all right. So without further ado, let's bring our panelists to this Cyberjaya where people have a lot of sentimental, a lot of investor complain and also loses money, seeing a lot of auctions unit going around in Cyberjaya. So do you think is it a good deal to go in Cyberjaya at this price point, or at some better products or things to get in Cyberjaya?
I think Cyberjaya suffered similar fate like Madini in many ways, right? Open land has got a lot of stigma in the past. A lot of people lost money, well, because they paid, well, 600, 700,
Yeah.
all the way up to even like 800 ringgit per square foot 10 years ago in cyber lah. Of course, if you pay those kind of prices, well, you're bound to lose money lah. Any area you go to, you overpay, you lose money, right? So the probability of making money in Cyberjaya is very small, not because the area is bad, just because I think people don't understand how to enter, when to enter the right price point, right? A little bit comment before you go to the verdict is because I think we saw advertisement about people are marketing this property at below 200,000. I think the marketing is not very honest because those units are under Rumah Mampu Milik units only, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Albee. So those
Yeah,
are
this
units
is
below
true.
200,000. right? For normal units, I think after discount, it's about 230,000, right? So which Albee has basically shared just now from a median point of view for a one bedroom today in Cyberjaya. You're not paying above, you're not paying below, you are paying fair
Just
market price point, right? Just slightly below median lah. So it's not so bad. It's not cheap. It's also not too expensive lah, right? So yeah, I think density wise is actually quite low. So William, deal or agree for 230,000, one bedroom, freehold.
230,000, one bedroom freehold, Cyberjaya. Actually,
Now got MRT.
yeah, not so deal lah for own stay and both investment. I mean,
Mm,
Cyberjaya, there's like what Avi said lah, a few vibrant spot already, right? Like the Tamarind Square, all that stuff. And they also got studio, all that stuff, and similar pricing. Of course, this is new, but yeah, I would stay somewhere that's close to anything like MRT, which this one don't have, or retails lah. So honestly, I think out. Investment actually 230K this price point so lah, to be honest. And I don't think actually studio you can make enough money lah for me lah. So especially dekat Cyberjaya where there's already some studios already lah. Like they don't also giving like huge cash flow near return, right? Of course, from their purchase price. So overall, I think both grew for me, but I think I want to share a bit on Cyberjaya punya sentiment a bit. I think recently there's actually kind of positive, how to say, sentiment, right? I have friends, I mean, especially on lender side, to be honest, not really on high rise side. My friend bought one day for mostly SP 30 side, I think it calculates, right? Enjoyed a gain of 200K each already, like less than 1 year. Yeah, for own stay. Because as you all know, Park City launched a new project lah, right, across the highway. So that brings up the sentiment for landed, but high rise so far macam not yet impacted by that. So kalau boleh impact, then it's good lah for high rise semua tu. But as of now, I think landed is good enough already. So Cyberjaya, I think overall sentiment is getting back lah. So far on landed first. That's my sharing. Sure.
I think this will look very appealing to those where their budget for investment is only 200,000. There's no other thing that you can buy, but I want to invest, right? So this actually scratches that itch. But will I encourage people to buy? No, because it's very, very like so I think the auction fiesta has kind of ended already in Cyberjaya. Not as much really, no more, no stock already, like Third Avenue, right? Last time, I want to buy one, or let people outbid me. So only left the Kensington office suites only, that one. That one left empty very long. But that one office suites, we understand why lah. So to me, like for audiences who are listening to this, if you can only afford 200,000 and you want to start investment, right? My suggestion is to just work harder on your income first. You can afford way safer products at better locations than just getting this lah. So and for own stay, I will definitely grill because it's a student-oriented kind of project. And the lifespan for such projects is always very, very short. So it's not going to be very, very good. If you want something in the balance, then because I've visited Myra before, Myra is excellent in my opinion, but it's own stay vibe, architecture wise.
Own stay wise. Yeah.
So it's very, very like I'm a big fan of their the architect. Then also I visited Cyber Valley, which is next to the project also PKNS one. The terrace house 2070 is leasehold. Yeah, it's already 1 million. So the phenomenon in Cyberjaya landed is like don't know why. And now the bridge to Gamuda Cove is almost completing. So from there you can actually go to Kota Kemuning in the future. So very, very exciting. A lot of developments coming up, but just that if This, if you are buying this because that's the only thing you can afford, I would suggest not. But if this is your third, fourth property, you just want to buy something for the year, then I think it's okay lah.
Albee?
Actually, I will due for own stay. Size
Really?
small group. Okay. So actually, when I go to cyber, the surroundings and the road, okay, everything actually pretty good leh. Of course, KL's area also jam lah. Okay, if you want a very quiet, retirement, talking
How
about retirement.
old
No.
are you? Talking about retirement, small unit.
Okay. Okay, talk about wanted to get to a much more quiet place, great connectivity, I mean good surrounding about own stay surrounding. So quite a good deals lah. You have primary, secondary up to college to choose. Okay. Okay lah for this.
But for a small unit, or you
yeah,
talk
for
about kids for
small group
what?
small group for me I mean like for small group, like maybe you're not married,
Then what's the school
yeah,
for?
I mean, for single good.
For single, maybe for my
single lor.
futures rent out, you know, your student plan lah. So I stay there, maybe I stay for the community itself lah. But maybe that's my own thing. I actually quite like for Putrajaya and also Cyberjaya, the area, if you're comparing to KL's where you couldn't really get this kind of landed vibes in this high rise. So I actually buy for this for own. If I'll go for own stay. Investment, this value, this product, yeah, probably be so. Maybe you can get a better price, and of course you make much more profit lah. But in terms of surrounding amenities, actually I really like Cyberjaya. In terms of surrounding lah. Yeah. Not talking about the size, but Cyberjaya. Maybe, yeah, in future, maybe can own the landed or something else. Yeah. But if you really want a pretty small sizes to go with, a high rise with facilities, maybe this is one of the product to consider for me for own stay. Investment 50-50. Yeah. For this.
Why so hesitant this one?
I don't know, because
for the previous three, right, you were so definite. Okay, deal grill. But this one, like, you're so hesitant one.
Because if you want to say area really free, for me is for own stay. Then but of course, you know, you want to justify the investment value, you know, whether you're going to live for long term in future. And
all same size one,
50-50. Yeah, all same size with 450.
Studio.
Yeah, so all same
studio
size, right? The target audience, right? The community is going to be all same people.
All same people like me. No lah, potentially. Yeah, so that's why this is, if you want a small unit to manage lah. Yeah, if you want a big house, of course go for landed loan. For that, for that surrounding.
I will control myself. Don't go don't go too deep first. Let Faizul finish.
Well, my rating is pretty clear. If you can move to the next slide. I actually quite I find it to be quite okay. The product. For me personally, Cyberjaya has turned around the corner. Right? It is at the inflection point as of today. Rental today has gone to an all-time high. Number of units went for auction has also gone down to an all-time low. Right? So we no longer hear horror stories from Cyberjaya properties. Unlike like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, right? So I will say what is controversial, right? And I think as of today, Cyberjaya in general, whether it's high rise or landed property, across the board, everything is undervalued as of today. I think it's undervalued. From a connectivity point of view, I think it's pretty good, right? A lot of freehold land. The community that stays there loves that, don't want to move out. People who been there recently will also know the area can actually be quite vibrant, basically. So it is at 230,000. I think it's one of the cheapest launch in the last 10 years. I don't think it's the cheapest because I think there was a Soho unit 450 square foot that was launched in the last 10, 12 years at about 220,000 starting price. So at 230 is not cheapest, but it's almost the cheapest. And looking at the median price point as of today of average of 230,000, 250,000, it makes it quite a safe buy, right? Quite a safe buy, right? Rental today, if you look at the more commercially busy area, it can go as high as 1,006, 1,008. All right. This site is a more quiet side of Cyberjaya, which is why, from an investment point of view, it's not that great. But Unstay, I think, is kind of nice, right? So quite low density, facilities are decent. Developer is okay. The same developer as Tamarind Square, if I recall correctly, right? So same developer, which is the master developer of Cyberjaya, right? So I think you don't have much very good option in tier 2 areas with MRT connectivity at below 250,000 entry price as of today, anywhere in Klang Valley. So I think it makes it a pretty safe option. And the fact that you got MRT means you can go to Bandar Malaysia, KLCC, TRX, right? By taking MRT, I think it's great. There are other areas, for example, as of today, that does not have any of this. Like, say, for example, the Gamuda Gardens, the high-rise leasehold is selling for a higher price per square foot than this. And nowhere near the connectivity, right? You definitely need a car, right? And there's nothing there other than Gamuda Gardens. So I think that this is okay. Relatively speaking, even by Cyberjaya standard versus Putrajaya, this is okay. It's quite affordable. But obviously, if you compare across all tier 2 areas in Klang Valley, 250,000 freehold, tak dapat lah, right? Anywhere else lah. So I think it's fair. I can understand why Albee likes it. And I think for both own-stay investment, I think it's going to be perfectly okay for first-time home buyer, right? I think this is now the second cheapest property that is launched in the whole of Cyberjaya in the last 10, maybe 10 years, right? We entered last year at a development in Cyberjaya, which I cannot mention which development, right? But we entered similar size at below 190,000. So we got the cheapest in the last 15 years in the whole of Cyberjaya Pakat. So our clients got 100 units and we bought the cheapest in the last 15 years. Even pre-property Buran also cannot find below 190,000. So we got the cheapest. So this is now, I think, it's the second cheapest, right? At least in the last 10 years. We got the cheapest in the last 15 years. So I think we entered at 190. I think we're pretty happy about it. Rental most likely be positive cash flow. Capital gain of 40 to 50,000 seems to be given the fact that that's the average transacted price as of today anyhow. So I think 230 is pretty okay price point. Obviously, you can enter at 190 our client be good but at 230, I still think it's very decent.
Question.
Yes.
The whole block is one size only, right?
I think so, yes.
No, I'm just thinking of the difference between okay, numbers wise, I think it's all solid. The target audience wise, if I'm buying a studio unit in a project where it's the smallest, so you have the 2 bedrooms, the 3 bedrooms, the dual keys like usual, versus a project that is full studio units only. So the vibe will be very, very different. So if you are buying for own stay, that's all I'm saying lah. Right? If you're buying to rent out, then it's going to be different. No?
I have a slightly different take. I think if you put a 2 to 3 bedroom, the probability of you getting student tenant is much higher. With this level of layout, it's just very hard to partition out. It doesn't make economic sense to build 2 partitions in a way to rent out to 2 students.
Oh,
so in a way, if you want to do...
okay, okay, I get it.
So if you do a 650 square foot of 2 plus 1 bedroom, you can convert it to become 4 bedroom. It's going to become a student accommodation. So I suspect Vybe will not be a student accommodation because of this layout. So in a way, I don't think the developer meant it that way. So it's by accident.
So okay, so I,
So
I I I I get what you mean. So what I think you misinterpret. So I'm not saying like studio. I'm not saying like if you're buying a 450 as where you have other typologies, not to partition out or not. So I'm just saying like if you want to buy this you really like cyber, I also like cyber, but the landed not the high rise lah. But tak mampu lah. So the if I were to
So
buy a
you tak mampu high rise tapi mampu landed je lah kat
okay.
Cyberjaya. Tu Sean punya tak mampu, guys.
So the if I were to buy a studio unit, so if I want to buy for own stay, it's important to think that if I buy a studio unit where the other typologies in the project is 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, dual key versus 450, because I used to design this exact layout in Medini. And it's doing extremely well investment wise.
Yeah.
So but then from an own stay point of view, like if I were to stay there, then I would curse myself lah. So because it's the the people who are there is all going to be like Albee lah. So it's not going like capital appreciation wise, it's not going to be as healthy because people with family won't buy. So it's only going to be determined by the rental returns. So that's your capital appreciation route lah. That people will, yeah.
So to be honest, I don't know. It really depends on the eventually what's the dynamic of the tenant mix, basically. If it's, for example, like 80 to 90% is people like LB, I honestly think the capital gain will be quite good. But you're talking about, professionals, young people, single, right? It's not going to be so bad. Families, it depends. If you're talking about landed property, that makes a lot of sense. But for apartments and families, macam, I don't see it lah, unless, for example, that infrastructure that was built to support family living, similar to like UAE in Singapore. I forgot the name of the property. The one with the swimming class and whatnot. So it's very family built from a tenant mix point of view, right? So yeah. So I to be honest, I don't know. I think it makes sense given the fact that there's no launch of small units in Cyberjaya in the last, I think, if I recall, 5 years. I don't think there's any launch.
I think
of
there's
such
one called
unit.
Uno, right? Around the street.
No,
That-
not this
that's
size.
one.
Or yeah, but there's a launch lah.
Yeah.
There is a launch, right? So there's only one other launch, which is Uno. You're right, and Uno is all 3 bedroom.
They invite me to go, but I didn't go lah.
Right. Right. It's all 3 bedroom with flexible layout. So that one also quite interesting. Net price per square foot is also quite reasonable. So again, I stand by what I said. I think everything in Cyberjaya today is somewhat undervalued. I would bet on the new ones versus the older one because the newer ones are selling at a price point which is either comparable, if not cheaper, compared to the old one. And normally, in any areas that we go to, the new one normally will outperform the old ones.
Yeah.
For those days, guys, I don't know whether you guys are aware, Cyberjaya used to launch at 650, 700, right? So there's a lot of development that was doing 750 at a point of time. So it was crazy price point, and it was a cashback play. NPL was, it was an NPL galore, basically. It was Cyberjaya always win NPL of the year award, right? So right.
But what's interesting now is because in Gamuda Cove, there's a lot of shop lots that's being developed right now. And when that connection is completed via Cyber Valley site, wow, it's going to be very exciting. Like. Via Persiaran Sepang there, you go in. Woo.
I think in all, this is not a buy call, of course, but I think one of the biggest capital gain play from a landed property will most likely come from cyber in the next 5 to 10 years. That's my bet lah. Number one, is available at reasonable price point, freehold, 2-story new. You can still get a 700,000+, 600+. I think even as low as below 700,000, which I think is unheard of. Desa Park is coming, so it's going to be good. Right? So you don't get just Gamuda, you get Gamuda and Desa Park. So from a commercial point of view and the landed standard point of view is going to be upgraded. So I think things are going to be quite exciting, and everything is just within a 10 minutes drive. On top of that, you got Putrajaya, which is actually quite wonderful. I don't know whether you have been to Putrajaya recently, Sean, but I would really suggest you bring your kid lah.
Oh, I
One of
gotta
the
bring.
nights.
I go there eat Hai Di
So
Lao.
got Hai Di Lao, man, in Putrajaya.
IOI.
IOI mah?
IOI inside IOI.
Oh,
Oh, not that side of Putrajaya. I'm talking about the one whereby the
yeah lah. So
lake
I,
side.
I after I
Uh,
go to the park, then I go there lah.
Yeah.
But
So
mahal lah,
so so
Putrajaya housing.
Putrajaya is expensive because majority of them don't want to sell. The majority of people buy government servants,
Yeah. Wow, the
right?
landed cannot get one.
Yeah. So cyber is for common people like us, right? So
Alamak.
cyber is the next. You can see buy Superlink 3,005 square foot about per million, which is rare as of today in Klang Valley, right? So I think cyber is underrated. From a sentiment point of view, you still have some level of stigma, but I think that stigma is slowly walking away. But this is similar lah when we entered Medini, like during COVID, everyone was saying that we're an idiot lah basically. And today, look at the rentals in Medini lah, it's actually crazy, right? So I mean, William was there, right? Sean, you were there too. So and everyone thought we were crazy when we entered, Iskandar side, Medini side at that point of time. But that's what happened when you buy into an area whereby there's a lot of sentiment, so you get cheap, right? And then you wait lah until the sentiment change, and typically it's not that long anymore. But you got MRT. So
Oh,
yeah,
now I'm now thinking about Gamuda Cove early phases of landed that is under auction right now.
yeah. I think those are gonna be quite safe lah. If you for me lah, I quite like the location. I love Gamuda as a landed property developer, township developer. I think they are phenomenal. So them and Desa Park is the two whereby if I want to buy something for own stay, I want to buy a super villa, I'm probably gonna buy their project.
Okay, a lot of homework to do. Okay.
Yeah. Again, no recommendation to buy. We're not discussing
No
them.
buy
But I think
call, no buy call.
But I think it's just impossible to discuss this property without discussing the stigma associated with Cyberjaya. So yeah, we think it's quite safe. There are not many property you can buy freehold below 250K today anywhere in Klang Valley with MRT access, not walking distance, but we still same area. We entered the cheapest deal in Cyberjaya in the last 15 years at below 190,000, which I think our clients are going to be quite happy. But even at 230, I still think it makes decent. I don't think people lose money buying this. But there are people who bought similar product 10 years ago at 300,000. So if you buy today at 230, I don't think, you're going to scream losing money.
I booked for Symphony Hills, 600 square feet at 500,000 12 years ago.
Wow. Lucky you lah.
Book only. Luckily didn't convert.
Oh. Right. Yeah. So, okay. I think we've done, right, for tonight?
Yes.
So let's quickly move to Q&A then.
Alright. Okay, so nak cakap juga dekat panelist, so please pick the question that you find it interesting to answer it live. Okay. Alright, so moving on to the first question. This one is from Hakim. Salam FR, saya dah beli tuan. Masa saya nak beli property tu, saya compare dengan Solasta. Dan ada ejen bagi tahu yang FACAP ni pro Solasta sebab tu FR kerjasama dengan developer. Betul ke tu?
I mean, we are not really hiding it in any way lah. Look, we've done Battle Royale. It was a 3-hour session of comparing the Dutamas, North Kiara, all the way to Segambut, right? And we've reviewed Tuan. So like Tuan was, I think, the second best rated property during our Battle Royale. Pergi tengok kalau tak percaya, right? But obviously, if you can buy Dutamas proper at similar price point to Tuan, why the hell would anyone buy Tuan? I mean, Segambut tak boleh dapat sewa 5,000 guys untuk 3 bilik. Dutamas today dah ada. In fact, many units 3 bilik lebih pada 5,000. So you might not like us, tapi a fact is a fact and data is data lah. So I mean, you buy Tuan, well, I guess congratulations to you lah. I mean, we're always happy when we see other people buy segambut at 600 per square foot. Because we are buying better, at a much better location, at a cheaper price point. When we see people pay 700, 750 at Bamboo Hills, mantap, right? Great, right? Because we are paying 600 ringgit per square foot in Utama. So if you make money, means we're gonna make shitloads more amount of money. Itu je. So I don't believe in this idea of putting down someone's property. I hope you make money. Because if you make money means we all gonna make a lot more. Lah. And there's a reason why, for example, if you look at the data is very clear. Right? There are no other property right now in Malaysia that you can buy new at 30% below median from a price per square foot point of view and net price point of view. Solasta is the only one. Right? I give you a reward lah. Anyone can find me a property that you can buy today under construction at 30% below median per square foot and net price. I'll give you a reward of 1,000. Because I have a research team. Full time. They couldn't find. I doubt you can lah. So for us, it's very clear, like night and day, which is why that property becomes my retirement plan. Right? Okay.
Okay, all right. Next question is from Joshua. Hey Faizul, I watched your previous deal or grill on Bamboo Hills. So how come you rate Solasta is better than Bamboo Hills? No offense, but I think you are biased and pro Solasta just because you and your company invest in it.
I mean, we've answered just now juga, right? So it's very, 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 very clear. We are biased towards numbers and performance. We biased towards anything undervalued. Bamboo Hills is not undervalued. Show me in what sense Bamboo Hills is undervalued. You cannot. There is no property in that area which is selling at a higher price point than Bamboo Hills in subsale. Tak ada. In Dutamas, I can point you all development from Icon to Solaris Park, right? Ajal. Everything is selling at a higher price point than Solasta. And these are proven transaction, right? Got subsale transaction. So we are always going to be biased towards good property, right? Towards undervalued property, because the job here, at least for us at Far Capital, is to buy undervalued property so that we can make money, we can maximize our profit. All right, but obviously, if you like Bamboo Hills and you want to pay 700 ringgit per square foot, you pay. No problem. Kita suka je, like I said lah. We wonderful, right? Go buy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question is from Steven. What do you think about Tuan versus Solasta in terms of graveyard versus old industrial area?
Go watch Battle Royale. Right? Go watch Battle Royale. And I think William dah beli property nearby graveyard and it's still the highest rental per square foot, highest per square foot as of today, even transacted from subsale in Kepung. Right? There's a property nearby TTDI next to a graveyard doing 1,200, 1,300 ringgit per square foot. It's a big ass graveyard lah. Right? Dekat TTDI tu. So I think it has become very, very clear that graveyard has not been the deciding factor on where property perform ataupun tak perform if you buy the right price point.
Okay. Next question is from Azim. I watched Last Deal or Grill. Can you also compare Skies and Solasta?
Good question. Skies is about 20% below median from net price per square foot point of view. And from a layout point of view, is about 20 to 30%. Solasta is 30% on both minimum. So if we're talking about cash flow point of view, I think Skies is going to win. Right? Because the layout is a lot more efficient. All right, the dual key layout. If we're talking about capital gain, I think it's definitely Solasta by far. Because one is freehold, the other one is leasehold.
Okay. All right. So this question is come from Mukhlis Mohammed. Ada soalan yang sama juga. So I am interested in purchasing properties under Far Capital. So how can I become a client?
Okay, a very quick one. Can we move to the slides? Right. So okay, so you become a client of Pakap if you want to buy undervalued property. As you know, we buy the cheapest in Cyberjaya, we buy the cheapest kat Mallory, we buy cheapest kat Utama. So if you want to buy cheap, you become a client. So typically, these are the profile of people who can explore to become a client. First time home buyer, you want to buy property, zero down and stay for free, you become a client. Anyone here on 70% LTV tak? Right? Anyone here on 70% LTV? Start already, cannot buy a property, become a client, right? If you have high debt, and you are looking to get cash from your property purchase, you can also be a client, right? So if you move to the next slide, please. Right, I think there's a link yang kita dah buat tu, just in case someone tanya kan, the QR tu. Satu lagi. Yeah, this is the one. So for those who want to become a client, you can click the QR code below, and then after that, my team will be in touch dengan you. Right.
Okay. All right. So next question is from Zarif Yusof. Will Solasta become like Selayang Star City?
Sayang Star City is a mixed development. They got royally fucked because there's a mall, right? And the cash flow required to go and build the mall is very different, right? So I think we've highlighted tonight juga that the primary concern for people looking to buy Solasta will be developer punya financial standing, because as you know, last year, in a way, they got butchered and murdered from a corporate punya point of view. So they've been targeted, and their stock price basically dropped by more than 80%. Right? So there's a alleged mismanagement of finance, which I think today has not been proven to be correct. Right? They are appointing, I think, independent corporate governance, and people's going to review the account. Right? So do I think it's going to, long story short, do I think it's going to become a necessity? Answer is absolutely no. But they tak ada more. Number two, property has got at least some margin, right? Dekat situ of at least 12 to 15%. So they are making money out of it. So unlike the development that we discussed before, which is margin tak cukup, right? This is also a property that was launched post-COVID. So it has already taken into consideration the price increase post-COVID, right? And for those who do not know, YNH is cash poor as of today, right? But they just sold 2 malls and 2 lands, basically. And I think in the last 6 months, they've actually have a cash injection after the sale of the mall and the land, especially to Sunway, of above 400 million ringgit. This is all well documented in the news, right? So I think they had cash flow concerns last year. I don't think they're going to have cash flow concerns this year. Although personally for me, kalau project tu delay sebenarnya lagi bagus. For me lah, personally, simply because, you know, like I say, I'm pretty a property buran. You don't want to have a property repeat at the beginning of a property buran. You want the property to be repeat at the peak of the buran, right? And I don't know whether you guys are aware, Met 1, for example, is a development that is delayed by more than a year. And today, the buyers are getting LED of 200,000. So it's quite a happy ending lah, basically, right? 200,000 LED. Means that unit that you bought for 700,000 now becomes 200,000 cheaper, right? So we don't think it's going to be like Solasta City. I don't think it's going to be abandoned. Delay maybe, abandoned no way. By the way, they own so many lands dekat Monggera, dekat Hartamas. They are one of the largest land bank owners in Dutamas, Hartamas area until today, right? And Bukit Bintang and KLCC. So land bank wise, dia ada banyak land yang dia boleh jual.
Okay, all right. So can panelists pick up the questions? Which one to answer, because there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm also replying.
I can see that. Okay.
I got one here. Is it good to invest in subsale hotel room property? Very bad idea.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah, like the worst idea.
Okay, maybe you can explain why is it worse.
You better buy Hublot, bro. From a watch point of view, just buy Hublot.
Yo.
Second hand.
So why is it on sale in the first place? Is the problem.
Yeah.
If it's a hotel room that is meant for hotel operations, now you can actually buy it privately. Means the business sucked, right? Business sucks, cash flow tak mampu, then you sell. Then in the first place, why did the developer choose to sell individually room by room? If the hotel business is very, very good. We don't see Courtyard doing it. We don't see all other good chains doing it. Yeah, and the only reason why hotel room was attractive last time is because the build up is 280. So the ultimate price of the property is very low compared to the returns of a room. But now when you have innovative room sizes now like 380 in KLCC, 450 in Cyberjaya, right? It's very, very competitive. And you have all the freedom to operate the unit like what you wish. So what's the worst thing for a hotel room if you buy individually? Every single room owner operates their own room rental. It's gonna be worse than an Airbnb. Oh, yeah, so it's a very, very bad idea. Very, very bad idea.
Okay, next question.
Question is from Amirul Shafiq. For current property market, is property flipping method to gain capital fast is getting harder, and now the current market is more appealing to a cash flow?
I think there's never been a time other than during the 2012, 2015 property bull run that property flipping makes sense. So property flipping only makes sense when you are en route towards the peak of the property bull run. Other than that, and that happens once every 20 years normally. So other than that, the time we should always buy for cash flow. Right? So the methodology yang kita follow kat FACAP ni is that you just buy undervalued, you buy for cash flow, and then you wait lah for your chance to come for capital gain point of view. We don't buy to flip. Right? We rarely follow this ideology of buying to flip. Because I don't know if anyone can time the market perfectly. So our viewpoint is that why don't you use a strategy whereby no matter what you still make money, and if you're lucky you make a lot more money. So you make money every month from the cash flow, you buy safe property, right? And then if you're lucky you make 2 to 300,000 next 3 to 5 years, right? So we bought the cheapest property you can buy in Johor. As of today, Johor is going through a property bull run already. So by stroke of luck, everyone that is buying in Johor as of today, or whole units, right, in the last 2 or 3 years, today can easily sell at 50 to 100,000 capital gain. All right. KL most likely will happen in the next 2 to 3 years. Right. But in notwithstanding, just because we know how to read doesn't mean that you should do it. I strongly do not recommend that because I've got mentors who got burned trying to flip and short the property market. Right? But based on a fundamental, doesn't matter you flip ke tak flip, you buat duit. Right? From rental, right? So that's the best way to go. If you're lucky enough to be able to go and flip, great. Happy for you. But it should be a bonus rather than what is expected.
Well said.
Okay. All right. Beyond to the next question from Abhishek. Is Solasta a foreigner-friendly product? I can see one of the towers has SPA more than 1 million, but I also hear that there have been issues in banks processing loans for foreigner for reasons beyond credit worthiness of the applicants. So perhaps due to concern regarding whether foreigners can buy into this project at all or not.
The answer to that is that units above 1 million? The answer is yes. Will you get financing? The answer as of today, based on what I know, is most likely a no. Or at least you're not going to get your 80 to 90% financing. So you might be able to get 60 to 70% financing. Right?
Okay, next
Is
question.
it because he's a foreigner or because it's a restriction in the bank?
Restriction by the banks.
Okay,
Mm.
noted.
All right. So next question from Eric Tan. Moving on, will there be an era where it will be impossible to buy properties anymore? Will we reach that point?
The answer to that question is always going to be yes. Right? I mean, I guess me and Sean has been around long enough lah to go and say, you know, if you compare to the prices of, let's say, 12 years ago versus today, then 12 years ago looks cheap lah. But people who are buying 12 years ago don't think it was cheap. It was high. So they compare it to 7 to 8 years ago. So if you look at it from a retrospectively point of view, it's just very hard to buy it cheaper lah. If you have the right fundamental lah, right? If you follow 7 criteria, no one can scam you into overpaying, right? Now, let's say, for example, then you can quote me an example like, but how come Iskandar got people last time buy 1,000 per square foot, today they sell it at 600? So today it's cheaper, right? And the answer to that is that, again, these guys don't follow 7 criteria. They buy purely based on speculation. That's why they lose money, right? So which is why we have this thing called median price, right? So median price gives you, are you paying today's price or are you paying future's price, right? So the key thing about property is that if you don't pay future price, you're going to be quite okay. And everyone that lost money buying property has always paid future price. Whether it's Cyberjaya or Medini or KLCC, right? Any of these areas that lost money, everyone was just betting on future price. It was not substituted by any facts, right? So for example, today, I don't know whether you guys notice or not. We purposely put in every single property what is the installment, right? For each layout. So that, you know, we can give you a clue. Is there going to be a market or not? For example, like just now we're discussing Clouthaus, right? The cheapest 1 bedroom unit, the monthly installment is 7,000 ringgit. Correct me if I'm wrong, Albee.
7.6, 7 something.
Right?
Yeah.
7,000 ringgit. So the rental market for a 1 bedroom today for let's say 8,000 ringgit, like just to break even, right? Plus maintenance, right? As of today, unless you're talking about 4 seasons and a branded residence, it doesn't exist. And this is not a branded residence comparable to 4 seasons, right? So I guess, like I say, a short answer would be things will always look cheap 5, 10 years from now compared to today, but today it's not going to look as cheap. The key thing about today is that you just have to buy a market price point or below lah, ideally, right? Which is why we like this idea. You know, we go to Cyberjaya, we buy the price point which is 15 years cheapest. We go to Maluri, we buy the price point which is 10 years cheapest. We go to Duta Mas, Monkera, we buy the price point which is 10 years cheapest. So because if you buy this price point, it's just going to be very hard for us to lose money on both rental and capital gain, right? So yes, property will become a lot more unaffordable. And people will still have to buy anyway because, you know, interest rate is going to be cheaper and everything else is going to go up, right? Cost of living is going to go up too. So is this, what is the fact of life, which is property, the reason why property is a wonderful tool, right? It has been proven property is the only investment other than gold, right? Which has proven in the last 500 years to be able to, if not match, but exceed inflation.
Okay, all right. So next question is from Kelvin. Is buying below the median price of the condo itself important versus other 1K units within the same development other than below the median price of the area? For example, Solasta.
I think it's a pretty good indicator on where to start lah. Right? So will you be okay if you pay above median? The answer is yes, because it depends on supply too, it depends on competition too, it depends on rental strategy too. Right? So buying below median is not the only thing you look at now. But it's for sure the easiest way to see whether you are paying market price point or you are paying undervalued or you're paying above market value. Right? So I think today we discussed quite extensively about this idea of branded residence, right? Your Pavilion lah, your Four Seasons lah, right? None of these are available at below median, right? It was selling at 50 to 100% above median at that point of time. And today it is still maintaining those kind of price point because if you want to buy Four Seasons, there's only one building, right? You want Escort, there's only that one building, right? So if you have those, right, then okay lah, you can pay above median, right? So branded residence is the only time we're probably gonna look at paying above median. But if it's a non-branded residence, and from a facility point of view, it's just average, right? So it's two things, right? So whether you have a USP of branded and USP of facilities, which is unique, right? You are the only one who has it. Then the probability of you paying above median, anything else, is not going to be very good. So you just be safer to buy below median.
Okay. All right. So next question is from Jason. Hi, it is my first time here. Sorry if I asking question out from this few project. Do you have any recommendation good property in Penang that Far Capital target on?
We've never done a deal in Penang. We're looking to do the first one this year. Penang is a little bit hard. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this every year, like basically we are trying to do a deal in Penang every year, right? So every year we negotiate, every year we fail. And here's the reason why we fail, because Penang doesn't make sense. Sebab apa? Price is more expensive than KL. Rental is 30 to 50% cheaper compared to KL. So you enter at a high price, rental is very low. Everything is negative cash flow by at least 1,000 in Penang. It's just very hard for a value investor like us to go and enter, justify buying Penang. So this is how bad Penang is, right? I'm looking at the development. It was priced at 900 ringgit per square foot. Okay? T-front lah, 900 ringgit. Okay? Now guys, at 50% discount, do you think it's a good deal, guys? At 450 per square foot? Good deal or not? From 900 become 450. Good deal or not? Good deal, right? Still negative cash flow by 1,000. After a 50% discount.
I know which one already.
So that's just Penang lah. So for us to go do a deal is difficult because developers don't want to lose money selling the unit and lose a lot of money, not a little bit of money, a lot of money, right? And even after losing money, right, you still don't get positive cash flow. It's terrible, right? So yeah.
Penang is tough though. Penang, like their government is also very strong, so their affordable housing, like almost the whole island is affordable homes.
Yeah. Airbnb tak boleh buat because it's banned by the state government, right? So you lose one rental option. And then the local Penang is quite camps up, so they don't want to pay sky high rental. Anything above 1,500, they look at you like an idiot, right?
They rather buy.
So they rather buy. So price remains very high, but people would rather buy rather than pay rental above 1,500.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Next question is from Muhammad Daniel. Was it really bad by Malay Reserve property? I see there is lots of Malay Reserve land at Mont Kiara.
Wrong price is bad, right price is good. Malay Reserve, non-Malay Reserve, leasehold, freehold, sama je. You have to enter the right price. Right? In Mont Kiara, the Malay Reserve are doing extremely well. Pechala pun okay. Sebab it's next to T3I. So it depends on the price point. You enter the right price point, Malay Reserve, Chinese Reserve, Bumiputra Reserve, everything can make money. Wrong price point, everything also will lose money, no matter how good is the location.
Yep.
Okay. Next question is from Amirul Ashraf. What you suggest to add develop in Cyberjaya in terms of facilities or amenities besides MRT in order to boost Cyberjaya market and to fade away the stigma or sentiment?
Oh, this is a very good question. The answer to that is that whatever that is supposed to be built in Cyberjaya that will help increase the property value has been built. Which is why, as of today, rental has gone up by 20% the last 24 months. developers are doing well when it comes to sales, especially for landed property. So to me, the most important infrastructure that is supposed to be built in Cyberjaya was actually a Chinese school. And that Chinese school has been built and completed already.
Yep.
Okay. The Chinese school is more important than MRT. So I made, I think, a talk for property developers 6 years ago. I said the biggest game changer for Cyberjaya is not going to be MRT2, but it's actually going to be the Chinese school. Right. So as of today, there's one SJKC Union, right, which is there. It's a pretty good school. And as of today, because of that, the demographic of Cyberjaya has changed. So Cyberjaya today is very Kinrara-ish. Semua orang ada. Got a little bit of foreigner, you got a lot of local Chinese, middle class
Kinrara.
Malays. Yeah. Schools are pretty good in Cyberjaya, by the way. So from primary, secondary, now got international school, now also got Chinese school. So Cyberjaya as of today from an infra is actually quite complete. I think they could use a bigger, better mall, right? Because today that current mall is quite packed,
Yeah.
right? Quite packed. The latest commercial center of gravity is Pavilion Square, which was dead pre-COVID. Today is doing very, very well. It's full on weekends, right? So Cyberjaya already has everything that it took. I think the next most important one, if they can build Max 2, complete it very quickly, because that would mean the people who are needing to go to airport will now be able to reach airport within 20 minutes. From the current 25 to about 40 minutes, depending on traffic. But as of today, whatever which is required to change, to turn around Cyberjaya has been built, and that which is why as of today, you see very little auction in Cyberjaya. Landed property price 10 years, tak naik ke Cyberjaya? Right? In the last couple of years, it has actually gone up. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So I think that's all the questions for tonight.
Yay.
Yay! We get to finish
Before
slightly
1.
over 12:30, right before 1. Guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you learned something new from both the property review, the deal or grill, and the Q&A. And for those who are interested to become a client, please, I see a lot of comment people cakap tak boleh pakai the link, right? We've got the link that we post to everyone here, which is m.me -far capital. Go click that if you are interested to buy property at the cheapest price point in the last 5 to 10 years. So with that, Assalamualaikum, and I guess I see you in the next deal or grill, which is in bulan puasa itself, right? So I
Puasa
guess
already?
good night. Yeah, 2 weeks from now is going to be puasa, Ramadan already.
Wow, non-stop celebration ni, walao.
Huh?
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
guys. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Everyone, bye.